This is a case that has always baffled me. On the 27th of August 1906, Ed Gein was born in La Crosse, Wisconsin. His parents were George and Augusta Gein, and he had an older brother named Henry. His mother was incredibly religious and was Lutheran, which is a branch of Protestantism. She believed the world was immoral and that all women besides herself were instruments of the devil. She also had a deep contempt for George, her husband, but only stayed with him because of her religious beliefs. She ran a small grocery store and eventually bought a farm in Plainfield, Wisconsin, which became the family home. She chose this isolated place to stop the outside world from influencing her sons. Only time they had contact with the outside world was when they went to school. Ed's classmates and teachers recall that he would often laugh out loud for no reason, as well as having an effeminate demeanour. Couple this with his mother scolding him whenever he made a friend, he was an easy target for bullies. Ed did very well in school, particularly in reading, but he never managed to impress his mother, who believed that Ed and his brother were destined to be failures just like their father. As he left school, the two boys were still kept from the outside world into their early adulthood. In 1940, George, Ed's father, died of heart failure from alcoholism. To help their mother, Ed and Henry did odd jobs and were considered honest and reliable by the community. Ed often babysat and seemed to relate to children better than adults. During this time, Henry began to reject his mother's view on the world, and he began dating a divorced mother of two and planned to live with her. He also began speaking ill of their mother, which didn't go down very well with Ed. The 16th of May, 1944, Ed and Henry were burning marsh vegetation when the fire got out of control and required firefighters. Once they had gone home, Ed reported Henry missing. A search party found Henry laying face down dead. It seemed he had suffered heart failure. However, biographer Harold Schechter reported that Henry had bruises on his head and the county coroner had listed asphyxiation as a cause of death, but there was no autopsy and Ed was never questioned. Not long after, Augusta suffered a stroke that left her paralysed, and Ed devoted himself to taking care of her. Following another stroke, she died on 29th of December 1945, leaving Ed devastated and alone. Ed continued living on the farm and boarded up the rooms his mother used to preserve them. Most of the house fell into squalor, besides the rooms that his mother had resided in, and Ed lived in a small room next to the kitchen. At this time, he became interested in pulp magazines with cannibalism or Nazi themes. He mainly worked as a handyman and also received a farm subsidy from the federal government in 1951. On the 16th of November 1957, the local hardware store owner, Bernice Warden, disappeared. At 5 p.m, her son, Deputy Sheriff Frank Warden, went into the store to find the till open and bloodstains on the floor. Ed Gein had been in the store the night before and he was supposed to come back in the morning for a gallon of antifreeze. Ed was arrested at Plainfield grocery store while police searched his farm. In a shed on his property, they found Bernice's body, decapitated, mutilated, and hung upside down. He had been shot with a .22 caliber rifle. It didn't stop there. Upon their searching, they found a range of human body parts, including 4 noses, whole human bones, 9 masks of skin, bowls from skulls, 10 female heads, human skin on chairs, Mary Hogan, who was a local tavern owner's head, Bernice's head, 9 vulvas, skulls on bedposts, organs in the fridge, a pair of lips as a drawstring, a belt of female nipples, and a lampshade made of a face. They were all photographed before being properly destroyed. I told investigators that between 1947 and 1952, he had made about 40 visits to 3 different graveyards whilst in a daze to exhume recently buried bodies. He stole women who mostly resembled his mother, taking them home to make his paraphernalia. He admitted to robbing 9 graves, and police didn't believe that he could have managed this, but they changed their minds when they exhumed 2 graves to find them empty. When Augusta died, Ed decided he wanted to change sex and began creating a woman's suit to pretend that he was female. He denied relations, stating the body smelt too bad, but did admit to shooting Mary Hogan in 1954. Later denied memory of her death. 16-year-old, whose parents were friends with Ed Gein, recalled him possessing shrunken heads from the Philippines sent from a cousin who served in World War II. However, these were actually skin that Ed had peeled from corpses and turned into masks. Gein's initial confession was deemed inadmissible due to County Sheriff Art Schley banging his head and face on a brick wall. Schley died of a heart attack a month after Gein's trial, and many who know him said it was from being traumatized by Ed's crimes. His trial was held on the 21st of November 1957, where Ed pleaded not guilty by insanity to one count of first-degree murder. He was diagnosed with schizophrenia and was not fit to stand trial. He was first sent to a maximum security mental hospital before being transferred to Mendota State Hospital in Wisconsin. In 1968, he was able to stand trial, which started on the 7th of November and lasted a week. Psychiatrists testified that Ed didn't know if Bernice's death was an accident. He was examining a gun, loaded a bullet and it went off, but he didn't aim it at Bernice. He then says that he doesn't remember anything after. The trial was held without a jury, and Ed was found guilty on the 14th of November. A second trial dealt with his sanity, and after testimonies from doctors, he was found not guilty by insanity and was committed to Central State Hospital for the criminally insane, where he spent the rest of his life. Ed's farm was to be auctioned off for $4,700 along with his possessions after fear they might become tourist attractions. But on the 20th of March 1958, a fire destroyed the house, but the cause was never found. The car used to transport the bodies was sold at auction for $760 to a carnival operator, Bunny Gibbons, who charged 25 cents for people to see it. On the 26th of July 1984, Ed died from respiratory failure due to lung cancer aged 77. People pulled chips off his gravestone as souvenirs until the entire thing was stolen in 2000. It was found in 2001 near Seattle and placed in storage, leaving his grave now unmarked.